Hi, my name is Chris Hart, and I am a French teacher at John Monnet Science School in Melbourne, Australia. I'm going to talk to you today about how I use Google, in particular Google Plus and Google Communities, in order to enhance learning for my French students. So, what do I mean by learning? Well, I think learning is social, therefore the use of communities, and it's also about making connections. So we learn lots of different things, but it's not until we actually start connecting those things together that we really start to understand, and we can strengthen those connections by critique. So, what do I mean by critique? Well, critique is simply a protocol that allows kids to talk to each other about their work. But we stick to the rules: hard on content, soft on people. Talk about the work, not the people. Try and be kind. So, for example, I like how you did this. Be specific. So, you might have the example of this section here is. And finally, make sure you're helpful. So why don't you try and do something else?
Okay, the lightning fast guide to the John Monnet Science School French Google community. At the moment, this community is closed and private only to the students in our Year 12 class. And that's just until we get our head around exactly what we want to do and how we use the Google Plus community. We've been using it since about February. We do have plans to create a public community so that student work can go out there and be critiqued by members of the worldwide.
So let's look at one of the technologies we can integrate into Google Communities, YouTube, to show how kids can create work and have it critiqued. So the task was for my students to create a video about the environment in French, upload it onto YouTube. This one's got 3 plus 1.
Modification génétique. Avantageuse ou préjudiciable?
Now let's have a look at some of the comments that were left. So Stephanie said your pronunciation was clear and accurate, so she was being specific. But she also said that you could use some creative synonyms for modification génétique. Great critique. Now let's have a look at how we can use Google Drive and the documents in particular to also improve our work and to use critique as part of our protocols. So here is a translation that students had to work collaboratively on. They had to go through the translation in pairs and put their translation of the French text in English. But here you'll see that actually other students were then able to put comments on and say, well done, that was a really good translation that you've chosen, or indeed it would be more accurate if you did this. So let's look at another use of Google Drive, and here is a presentation, but this is not a presentation made by a teacher to teach some kids some stuff. No, indeed, it is a presentation which is co-constructed by students. The subjunctive is a tricky and disastrously hard part of French, so rather than standing up there and trying to teach the kids it, I asked the kids to research collaboratively and create a presentation and to use this presentation to teach each other the subjunctive. So you can see the power down the side of all of these people simultaneously collaborating. So, unfortunately, as does happen in schools at times, we missed a few lessons over a couple of weeks for numerous reasons. But we didn't panic. We wanted to practice our debate on the environment, so instead of that, we hung out at 8 o'clock at night.
Si nous faisons les bonnes choses pour améliorer l'environnement et l'aider à sauver la planète, je pense que tout le monde va, va, va commencer à faire ça aussi.
Okay, super.
So I hope you can see that by using Google Communities and combining that with Google Drive and other Google technologies such as YouTube, and ensuring that we use critique protocols such as being kind, specific, and helpful when we give critique, we can really start to develop learners who can collaborate, communicate, critique, and create.